Hi, welcome to this blog and welcome to this quick video. Before we go any further on this, let me just go into something I'm going to say some things that some professionals find a little bit out there, a little bit rough, because for whatever reasons their training doesn't allow them to see beyond their training. They're in a little box and they stay there. I'm okay with that, but here's the reality, okay? Addiction recovery, true recovery is freedom, zero resistance. Freedom is not resistance. If you are resisting, and hear this, if you're resisting the alcohol or the drugs or the food or the sex or the money or whatever it is you're having your addiction to, if you're resisting it, actively fighting against it, then you are not recovered. Think of it this way. If I tell you don't think about drugs, don't think about drugs, don't think about alcohol, don't think about alcohol, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about it. You can't do that. And that's where we talk about freedom. Resistance equals relapse. If you're fighting hard every day to resist the drug, then you're still really addicted to it, but you're forcing it away. It's so much work. And there's a way better way to do it. In these blogs, in these videos, you'll learn how your own brain doesn't want you to seek pleasure and it wants you to avoid pain. So if you're still drinking or you're still doing drugs, there's a reason back in your brain somewhere that it is creating pleasure in your life or you're avoiding pain. I know it sounds basic, but as you read the blogs, as you listen to some of these videos, you'll get a better idea. Read the book. It shouldn't take you a couple of hours to read the book. Then you can do something about it. Remember this, freedom is one of our human needs for the need for security, the need for certainty. It's not a want, we have to have it. We need security, and that's one of our needs. So if you are freedom, if you're not resisting, then that's pretty much the end of your addiction, okay? Who are you? Interesting thought process here. 70% of the people who left rehab relapse. Why? Because who left rehab? They left the same way they went in, except only now they've been clean for 6 months or whatever long their rehab is. It's basically a long detox program. They haven't overcome their addiction. In fact, they're still addicted. They just aren't doing it anymore, and their body doesn't need it physically anymore. But mentally, they still need it. Interesting study that they did. 70% of the people leaving rehab, for example, 90% or 100% were asked this question: are you an addict? Or are you an alcoholic? And it was kind of interesting that about 70% of them said, I still am, but I no longer do it. I resist. Well, it was interesting that those 30% were the ones the 30% that said, no, I'm not an addict. I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I don't eat that food anymore. I'm over that. Those 30% that said they're over it didn't relapse. The 70% that said, yeah, I still am, but I'm resisting it, pretty much relapsed, okay? If you leave rehab and you haven't changed, and you don't feel that you're different, if you go in as an addict and you're coming out as an addict that's still resisting, you haven't changed. Our program that we work with people on is to help you get to that point where your addiction is changed. You no longer have it. You are now seeking health as opposed to seeking a drug or an alcohol or food or whatever it happens to be that you're doing. You no longer want to go back to that life. I've got clients of mine, relatives of mine, very close relatives of mine, who the last thing that they ever think about is their drug of choice, former drug of choice. Now they think about their new, quote, and I'm going to say drug of choice, their new addiction is health. That's where I want for you. That's what we want. Got any questions? Give me a call. If you're working with a health professional, send me an email. They can send me an email. They can ask me questions. I'll work with them. By the way, the program that we do is not easy. Let me mention it to you. Not easy. Not simple. It's hard, but it's effective and it's quick. Extremely quick. That's what I want for you. Okay? Thank you so much for listening to this. Read these blogs. There's a lot more detail in them than I'm giving on these videos. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.